Hello, Glenn Demnon here, working on the bus again today, and it's a terrible, rotten day here in Yakima. It's got down to about, I think, 20 degrees last night. It's New Year's Day, actually, and weather yesterday was pretty nice, but today it's not so much so. And what I'm working on today is the air dryer on the bus, and besides other things, I've got the wheels off the bus. As you can see here, I've got both wheels off right now. And I'm installing new shocks, and then once I get all that done, I'll be putting some new tires on it. I'll put those wheels back on and then drive it down and get new tires. That way, all the tires on the bus will be less than a year old. So basically it's kind of pouring down. Well, it's not really pouring down rain. It's kind of a nice rain actually happening right now. But I thought I'd go ahead and do this video here. So this is, I've got this opened up here. I went ahead and greased all my grease fittings in here. There's one on the top of the kingpin, one on the bottom of the kingpin. There's one on the S-cam bushing. And then there's also one on the slack adjuster and the ball joints. So I've done both sides. That's pretty much it for the front end here. So the video today I want to do is, besides replacing these shocks, which I have new ones on the way, I've been waiting for a week so far for them, but it's, you know, with Christmas and New Year's and stuff like that, it's just not happening as soon as I would wish. But I've removed the air dryer, which is in a really convenient spot in between the front wheels up here. I've got that completely off, and I've got a rebuild kit on the way. But if the rebuild kit doesn't work, or I mean, I should say, if the kit is not as complete as what I would like, or if it doesn't cover all the parts I want to replace, then I'm just going to get another one, because another air dryer is about the same price as a kit anyway. So I found after I already had ordered the kit. But anyway, so what I thought I'd do here also is just explain a little bit how I jack up the bus, the front end anyway. When I do this, is I fire up the bus, get it fully aired up so it's up as high as it goes with the airbags. Then I go ahead and block the frame. It looks like it's sitting on the radius arm, and it may be a little bit, but it's on my blocks are under the frame on both sides. Then when the air goes down, or you can let the air down, then the bus sits up high. Well, okay, let me back up a little bit. So I get the bus completely aired up, and I drive it up on these ramps. So I've got these ramps, they're about 4.5, 5 inches tall. So I drive the front end up on the ramps, bus is fully aired up. Then I block the bus. Then after the air goes down out of the airbags, then I can just jack up the axle, only the axle, with this 12-ton jack, and get the axle up high enough to pull the ramp out. And then I can lower the axle back down enough to get the wheel out, because you got to get the wheel out from this shroud here. So anyway, so that works pretty well. I've had the wheels off for actually about 2 weeks now. It's getting kind of frustrating not being able to get these parts in because of the holidays and stuff. But so while I had the wheels off and the getting ready to do the shocks, I decided to go ahead and get into this air dryer. So air dryers should be replaced every, maybe every year or two, or they're the filter anyway. It's a decusant filter, I think is how you say it. And so I've got that in here, and so I can go ahead and show what I'm doing with that. I've got it all disassembled in here. I don't know if I'm getting water on my camera or not here, but there, how's that? Anyway, so I've got the air dryer completely disassembled here, as you can see. This is the cover. This is the decusant filter, And these are all the parts here. And I want to just kind of get into these parts here because this is stuff that I'm just kind of discovering myself as I go. So, so basically the cover here, I went ahead and it just had some surface rust on it and stuff. So I went ahead and painted it with some epoxy paint, like what you would paint like a refrigerator with. It's pretty hard paint. So that's all cleaned up and ready to go. The inside was actually really clean, which I was surprised. And then the filter here, it unscrews. I've already got it apart here. It's actually pretty tight when it goes on there. So you have to use like a filter wrench or whatever on it. And it unscrews, and it just has these 4 little tiny holes, and then a check valve on the top, which the little disc for the check valve is all gone. Who knows where all that stuff went, because it's pretty old. I don't know how old this thing is. There's no date on it or anything that I can find. But this, I know that this is a spring-loaded system in here. You don't want to get into trying to take this thing apart or anything like that. So best thing to do is just get another one. You can get remanufactured ones or whatever. So that goes on there. Then this is the base of the air dryer. And so I've got it all disassembled. And basically the way it goes is of course these O-rings on here, these O-rings will come off. I've already got them off. So there's an O-ring for the filter, and then there's an O-ring for the cap here that goes around, and then all these bolts. These bolts, there's 8 bolts. 2 of them are longer than the rest because of the bracket, because 2 of the bolts also bolt to the bracket to the bus and things like that. So this line, or this air dryer has 3 air lines going to it. One here where there's a check valve, which is right here, and this goes in here. I've got the O-ring ready to pop off there, but anyway, this was in here. Then one of my air lines hooked to that, and then so this is the air line that goes to the tanks. This is the supply air line here. And then this is an airline that is for the, apparently something to do with the turbo cutoff or the control port or whatever they call it anyway. I'm not sure exactly how all this stuff actually works. And then this is basically an emergency pop-off. And per the manual, this emergency pop-off here has a hole in it. And when you put this in here, that hole is supposed to be facing downwards, which would be, of course, in this direction here. So I'm assuming a new kit is going to have a new one of these and some other things here. So then this part here is a purge valve. It's got O-rings on it, respectively, that go on down. One at the base, one kind of in the middle, then one at the end here. Basically, this one here goes here. And of course, I'm getting all new O-rings. And then this is a special O-ring here. It's really kind of a square shaped O-ring, and this here is the purge valve. So when this is installed, I've got it apart now, but when this is all together, this is flush with the top. So it goes down inside, and that O-ring seals it, and then it's flush. And so this bolt here actually takes it apart. So the only way to get the bolt out, because if you put a wrench on this bolt, it just spins around because this whole thing will just turn. So you have to have a tool to fit into these notches here, which I just made something out of a piece of steel here. Anyway, you can get a tool for it, like put it in some vice grips and just kind of hold it while you undo this bolt so you can take this thing apart. So basically, once it's apart, and there's torque specs for all this stuff, of course, but once it's apart, then this comes out like so. There's a spring here. And anyway, so that functions. That's a piston, actually. That's called a hard surface piston there. And so so that is that. And then this has a rubber thing on it here that seals it or whatever. And then this here is spins on here. Even when you tighten it, this piece here spins. It's some kind of a Bakelite or plastic piece, and that's where the air shoots out straight downward. So it's sitting like this, and the air shoots downward. And then this is just kind of a cover that goes over the whole thing that directs which direction the air is going to go, basically. So it goes like this. So the air shoots straight down. You could probably put a elbow on this and have it shoot, you know, back or whatever, different ones. Some of them are even threaded with an elbow, so you can have the air shoot where you want it. So it's not just shooting straight down. Anyway, but one of the main things I wanted to show today is this purge valve is a very interesting device. So it has a heater in it, and this is the heater. Okay, now of course this sticks out of here, and you know, it plugs into your bus, and a lot of guys online on YouTube, they say it's some kind of a sensor and things like that. Well, it's not. It's actually a heater. I put a test on this. I ran 24 volts directly to this, and this ceramic pencil shaped element here actually gets hot. And then this snap disc determines whether or not it's running. So I put this in the freezer and tested it at like 20 degrees. And then at 20 degrees, or less, you know, below 30 degrees, it pops, or it snaps into position to where then it's closed, so that it puts power to the element. And then when it warms up, it snaps in the other direction, and then it shuts the power off to the element. So the way this goes in there is there's a hole there. And when you read the manual, it says that this is not a serviceable part. And that may very well be true, but you can get new ones of these and replace them. So this heats up the bottom of this purge valve. So basically it just goes in there like that. Then you just got to kind of finagle it around. And anyway, you shove that in there a little bit more. You can get the snap disc to pop in there, and then the whole thing just kind of goes down in there. I'm not going to install it because I may be using this one on a 12 volt model, because this is a 24 volt element. So I might end up buying a 12 volt, completely new air dryer. And if that's the case, then I could put my 24 volt heater in it, because the bus is 24 volts. So that's a pretty important point there. So basically, I think that's about it. I haven't got my kit yet. I've got this all cleaned up. It's actually in pretty nice shape. Oh yeah, one more thing I wanted to show is the problem that I have it's a problem that I have that doesn't seem to really be a problem. I don't know. I mean, this thing was actually functioning. It seemed to work as best that I could tell, except for maybe the filter needed to be replaced. But this is a check valve, okay? So this check valve is just completely wide open. There's no check to it. There's no flappers. There's no, you know, little balls and springs or anything like that. Now, when you look at the manual, hopefully you guys can see all this stuff. The manual actually shows a spring and a plug that springs. So basically when and it says check valve assembly. So when the air fills up in this thing and it's ready to pump it on through to the tank, it pushes that check valve down and lets the air go through, and then the check valve goes back closed, so air can't go backwards back into this thing. So how in the world it worked with absolutely no parts inside this thing is totally beyond me. But I went down to a local truck outfit, and I had them pull a whole brand new assembly so I could look at it. And you look down inside here, and there's actually a spring and a gate valve thing in there, you know, like a cap or a plug or whatever, that springs up and down. Well, it's just completely gone. So I don't know if somebody took it out or why it's gone, but this isn't even a check valve at all now. It's just wide open. But basically this goes in here, and then it has a new O-ring there. Of course, it'll have a new O-ring. It goes in, and then, you know, tighten it up, and then it connects to the airline. So that's the problem that I'm having. So if my kit that I'm going to get doesn't include a new check valve here, this part here that I have to take my fitting off, of course, If it doesn't include that, then I'm just going to bag the kit, send it back, and then just get a whole new assembly here for about the same amount of money and install that. And when I do, I'll probably put a video together on that. So anyway, so basically that's the video today. Hopefully, hopefully this kind of teaches everybody something. It taught me something, that's for sure, is that these air dryers need to be serviced, and they need to be looked at, at least I'm thinking once a year, because they're a pretty crucial item, especially if you drive a lot where it's rainy weather, or especially if it's freezing outside. You don't want to get moisture in your air brakes and have things freeze and stuff like that. So anyway, so that's the video for today, and hopefully everybody enjoys it. And it's a New Year's Day today, and have a happy New Year, and God bless everybody. Thanks for watching.